Welcome into the box score. Terry Collins along with Murphy Fair and Justin Malden, always doing a great job for us. And Murphy, we've got a couple of games behind us now and only 9 more to the end of the regular season.
It'll be November before we can turn around twice, won't it, Terry?
It seems like it goes that fast, Murphy. Let's go ahead and look at our Sonic stats of the week of the Gordonsville-Watertown game, and it was tit for tat. 1 yard's different total, Watertown's favor. But Murphy, when you look, 2 turnovers there for Watertown, and a lot of times that makes a difference in the ball game.
I was quite surprised by the score in that one because we've seen Gordonsville a couple of times already, and I really thought this was a rebuilding year for Watertown. But Coach Webster obviously did a great job of keeping his kids in the game, and like you said, those 2 turnovers obviously a big part of the result.
Of course, Gordonsville had the time possession in their favor because they had 278 yards on the ground, and then passing-wise, Waldorf had 250 yards for them, but they had an interception and a fumble. Of course, they drive late to try to score. They get all the way to the Gordonsville 5-yard line there in the late stages of the game, but wind up getting turned away. Typical, seems like Gordonsville-Watertown, it's always a battle.
Obviously, emotion plays a big role in that game, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, it doesn't matter.
Let's look at the individuals. A big night from Bryson Grissom, 31 rushes, 256 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dalton Hancock, 5 receptions, 70 yards, and Waylon Kennedy, 1 for 22. For Watertown, Blake Waldorf, 25 for 39, 250 yards. Couple of touchdowns, the interception, 5 rushes for 27 yards. Jesse Bratcher, a big night, 8 catches, 131 yards, 2 scores. And Landon Harper, 14 rushes, 73 yards and a score. That's some accolades there, Murph, but there's got to be some guys blocking up front for these guys to get the numbers. 256
yards on 31 tries is very impressive. And like you said, some guys up front in the trenches are just as responsible as Mr. Grissom is.
When you look at this game, Gavin Webster, a former player, now the coach at Watertown. These schools know each other well, their coaching staffs know each other well, and most of the time, you think this would be more of a defensive battle. When you look at the total yards, nearly 370 yards for both teams. That's not typical of a Gordonsville and Watertown defense.
No, it's not. And it looks to me like the fans on both sides of the field had plenty to yell hooray and yell all night long.
For sure. Let's go ahead and look at the DeKalb County and Smith County. DeKalb just imposes their will on the Owls and wins it 35-6. Very impressive by Steve Trapp's team. Jordan Parker, 113 yards passing, 36 yards rushing. He had 4 total touchdowns. Sechel Ketchum, a big night for DeKalb, 17 rushes, 165 yards, and their final touchdown was about a 67-yarder. They're in the late stages. Ryan Lyons, a sophomore, Murphy, but very, very impressive. Outstanding quickness. He had a couple of touchdowns, and on both of those, Murph, it looked like we had him sealed up, and he used X and Y and whatever other buttons they use on that Madden game, and juked us and went to the house, and he's going to have a very, very promising career for DeKalb County.
Well, I'm sure a lot of our viewers thought, Murphy, have you lost your mind picking Smith County over DeKalb County? I guess it was the fact that both of my kids went to Smith County High School, and I've spent countless hours on the sideline there at Smith County High School. I thought, well, maybe the home field thing, but congratulations to DeKalb. They showed that they're a pretty good football team this year, and they're going to win a lot of games before it's all said and done.
Freshman Caden Mason leads the Owls, 12 rushes, 61 yards, and a touchdown. He got that touchdown on a 19-yard run. A young man that's got a very promising future for Coach Matt Dyer.
Didn't you say I think he's just a freshman?
Just a freshman,
So that is very impressive.
Riley Martin, 8 for 18, 58 passing yards, interception, 8 rushes for 27 yards. But the Owls in both their games, Murphy, only scoring 6 points against Gordonsville, now against DeKalb. if they're going to win football games, they've got to put more points on the board.
They got to feed those guys in the line a lot of food to get them ready for the battles that they have in store for them.
You look at their line, and on the offensive and defensive line, Murphy, they return virtually nobody. And a lot of first-year kids up there that are having to baptism by fire right now against some good football teams.
Well, the guys that play in the line don't get the credit that's due to them, and those guys that played such a big role in Smith County's success last year are simply not there anymore, and some of those younger guys are going to have to step up and let the coaches know that they're ready to play, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Of course, the Owls are heading to Liberty Creek and play in Gallatin. Both these teams looking for a win come Friday night. Let's go ahead and look at the Providence Christian and Cannon County game. Cannon County scores, I think, with like 10 seconds to go on that Kale Sellers 6-yard pass reception. Eli Garrett leading the way for the Lions, 10 of 22, 243 yards. Also 14 carries for 48 yards and 3 more scores. Raiden Smithson, 12 rushes for 58 yards. Zay Odom, 4 receptions for 128, and Sellers, of course, that 6-yard reception. But Murphy, when you look, and we'll talk to Coach Bartsch a little bit later, they love to go up and down. They love the open field and snap it quick.
Yeah, and I mentioned the player. I didn't mention his name, but that Sellers kid's only a freshman. Coming out of the backfield, catching that pass just in time to win the ball game. There's going to be a lot of freshmen and sophomores on the field for Cannon County this year, but they seem to be much more mature than 9th and 10th graders.
Right. Tatum Marks for Providence Christian, 2 passing touchdowns, and then Aiden Bolden and Porter Dedman a touchdown apiece. But Murphy, I think when you come from behind, as Cannon County scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter there, after being down, I guess it was 13-6, 13-7, whatever it was, that's got to give the line some confidence to get that comeback win.
They had a lot of games last year, 3 or 4 games, I think, that were a touchdown or less loss, and had the lead and just couldn't hold on to it. And I think that's one thing that Coach Bartsch said he wants to be a second-half football team, and those kids responded very well to come from behind twice over a pretty good football team.
We'll have an interview with Smith County girls coach Nick Bussell when we return to the box score, sponsored by Carthage Safeway.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
Neighbors help each other. It's how community works. And it's how we do business at DTC. You can count on us for internet, TV, and phone, backed by local support.
For a limited time, earn a $25 bill credit for your favorite local school and $25 for you when you add or upgrade internet service with DTC.
DTC. We're working hard to be a good neighbor.
Hello, I'm Bruce Daniel. I've lived in Cannon County all my life. For the last 59 years, I've only made it across the highway. I married my wife, Melody, in 1981. We hauled our first load of freight in 1983 with 1 truck and a couple old barred trailers. We found a way to make it. Our employees are the backbone of our company. Some of our team members have been with us for more than 30 years.
Nearstar Tennessee Zinc Mines is a proud supporter of athletic programs throughout the area, including high school football and high school basketball. To learn more about us, please visit us at our website, www.nearstar.com. Nearstar Tennessee Zinc Mines.
welcome into the box score. Terry Collins along with Murphy Fair, and we've got Nick Bussell, the athletic director and soccer coach at Smith County High School. And Nick, first of all, I know it's a busy time for you with all the fall sports going on at Smith County High. Thanks for taking the time.
Oh, we're glad to be here. Always glad to talk about fall sports and girls soccer and football and all the fall sports that we got going on right now. And you're exactly right. This is a busy time of year, but that's part of the fun.
A lot of people don't really understand that, because for decades the only thing in the fall was football. I mean, the girls didn't even have anything in the fall until volleyball came along. But you're right, an awful lot of different sports, different head coaches, and it's a great time.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we got now we have, of course, football, girls soccer, volleyball, cross country, golf, boys and girls, and it's just a busy time of year. Of course, school's got started. Everybody's getting back in the swing of things. It's just that time of year, but you got to love it. And the weather's been a little hot for us, but I think it's finally going to cool down this week.
Coach, when you look at your team, girls soccer, boys soccer, girls soccer especially, has been more successful over the last 15 years at Smith County High than any other sport. And you're off to a 3-2 start, which is usually you don't lose two games all year. My point is, when you are the most successful program, including basketball, football, baseball, everything else, softball, then, you know, I think from what I can see, just from the outside looking in, is you start them young, and they progress all the way up to you, and you also have some kids from Gordonsville High School that play with you.
Yes, sir, you're exactly right. Very blessed to have a great middle school program that feeds us some good, talented kids. Me and the middle school coach, Chris Smith, work well together. I sort of tell them, hey, this is what we need to at least talk about basic-wise. You know, you got to do what makes you successful, but here's what we got to have. He's done a great job with that. And as you said, you know, we're off to a 3-2 start. We talked about last year, we got put out in a double overtime PK shootout against White House Heritage, and it got us that was in the region semifinals. And we wanted to get over that next step like we had a few years prior to make it to sub-state and sectionals. So we talked about it as a team, and I said, you know, we're going to play some better competition early on. We're going to play in some tough games. That's hopefully going to benefit us in the, you know, road ahead. And we did that with Stone and Good Pasture. Both of them were quality teams. I think if we ran into a little sickness early on, we had the flu and everything else, COVID going around a little bit. I think if we were 100%, that'd have been a little bit closer. Might even came out with some wins, but it gave us some time to look at those younger players and, you know, give them some time early on to try to get back on the right track. And we played in some really good competition and got them that experience.
Coach, you mentioned you had some Gordonsville girls on there. I guess that means you're co-oping or they're co-oping, whatever. How did that come about?
Well, I've been coaching. This is my 8th year as the head coach of the girls, and that was done prior to me. Gordonsville had a few kids that were interested in soccer, and they reached out, and of course we did all the co-oping paperwork for Tito Sablé, and we can have continued that co-op, and it's worked out really good. Coach Agee, me and him worked well together for the years that I've been there. He's sort of been the AD. And he's always been very beneficial. Now Coach Clemens and Mr. Petty have been great to work with, and they've come in with some new ideas and stuff. But yes, we're very blessed. We've got, I think this year is probably my biggest class that I've ever got from Gordonsville. And we had some kids that have played for me from Gordonsville for 5 years now, because we could pull them up as an 8th grader, and we got 2 girls that did that. And that was a huge benefit to get them already in our system, and they were talented enough and wanted that experience early on to do that. So our relationship with Gordonsville has been great. That started before me, but we continued it, and I can't think of any other way around it. It's just so beneficial to our program, and those kids love wearing black and gold and supporting us, and they take pride in being an owl.
You've had some very successful athletes from over there. In fact, one of your better players this year, I think, is from Gordonsville High.
Yes, Aubrey Felice, she's on there. She's been our lead scorer probably for the last, probably since her freshman year. She's sort of our rock up top. She's our striker, and she's found that she had about 40 goals last year. She was in the Tennessean as the top players to watch in the state of Tennessee for the Tennessean. She's going on a good roll right now. She's getting back started. She just passed her, one of her goals this year was to get her 100th goal, and she's got 103 right now.
Wow.
In just 5 games in. So she's one that we've had for many years, and I've had a numerous amount of good athletes that came from Lawrenceville that's helped us on the soccer field.
Coach, it's been 25 years or more since I left Smith County, and at the time I was there, soccer was the farthest thing from anyone's mind. But you said that you had 20 some odd girls on your roster. That's probably only the second largest roster, second to football, at Smith County, period. So obviously it must be a pretty popular sport right now.
Yeah, we're very blessed with that, and I tell you the biggest help was when I first started. I had started out with 20, I think, and I didn't even have enough because you got to play 11v11. That wasn't even enough to scrimmage against each other. But it's slowly grown and got better, and I helped with the boys. And at one point, we had about 30 kids on that team, and so we usually average around 25 to 30 kids on both sides, the boys and girls. And it's great to see. And Nashville now having that pro team there I think it's just going to grow even more, and it's going to continue. And our rec league has had numbers where, especially in the youngest group, just tons of numbers. So it's still coming, and we're happy about that.
All right, Nick, I've got to give you a little history lesson on how soccer got started in Smith County. They tried to start it, and the numbers wasn't there. So at that time, I had 320 kids in T-ball. Said, hey, can I borrow your rosters to get some kids to play? But I feel like I had a hand in that some way of that getting started, because they only had 20 or 30 kids in all age levels at that time. But now there are so many different age levels and so many different teams going all the way down to 4 and 5 year old kids all the way up to the high school level. That really has to be a great feeder and help them at the high school level.
Oh, you're exactly right, and I'll be the first one to tell you thank you. So I appreciate that. Yes, that's huge. I mean, some counties don't even have a rec league, and they're starting at middle school, and that's almost too late. I mean, as all of us know, the younger you get these kids invested in the sport, the better off you're going to be. And our rec league is really good. We do a youth camp every year. At the first week of June is when we've always done it. We do it for 3 days. And this past year was our biggest youth camp we ever had, and that was at 123 kids. We had 123 kids from 8th grade and below that was at our youth camp. And we invite the rec league coaches there. We invite, anybody that can come. It is a little fundraiser for us, but the main thing is to get our kids involved in the community. My kids love it. They fight over, hey, can I coach these group of kids? And we have to, take turns and all that because they just enjoy it so much. But our community has really grown, especially on the soccer side of things, and the field and everything else that we got going on down there at Smith County Soccer Complex is one of the nicest we'll play at. And that's a huge benefit for us. Having great community involvement is huge.
Coach, looking at your schedule, you've got a lot of teams on here that are much larger schools. I see Ottawa and Franklin County, and you've already played, as you said, good past year, but it looks like you're moving in the right direction to play bigger schools. That just makes you better against your classification.
Oh, you're exactly right. And those Pigeon Forge, Ottawa, and Franklin County, we're going to a tournament this weekend. We always go to the Smoky Mountain Cup. And that's going on this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday up in Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. And we play up there. We've won it a few times. The main thing that we go up there is to have fun and play some quality soccer. and that's some great competition. But yes, going back to what I said earlier, because we really wanted to preach, is make sure we have great competition all year round to get us over that hurdle in Class A. And we made sure in our scheduling this year and to play some bigger schools, to play some different competitions at different times of the year, to try to make sure we get there and we're ready to go for region play and sub-state and all that stuff. So having that tough schedule, we wanted to make sure we played not only bigger schools, but higher level of competition throughout the whole year.
Well, girls soccer coach Nick Bussell, appreciate you visiting with us, and best of luck to you and the Lady Owls soccer program.
Thank you for having me. It's great talking to y'all.
Thanks, Nick.
We'll have an interview with Cannon County football coach, Coach Andy Bartsch, when we return to the Box Score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway.
Got a special outdoor project that you need to tackle? BDGR Excavating is the one to call. Custom land clearing, mulching, excavation, and more. They can help get the job done, even when others have failed. Call the problem solvers at BDGR at 615-489-1329 and let them help you get that project out of the way so you can really start enjoying your property. BDGR Excavating.
Nearstar Tennessee Zinc Mines is a proud supporter of athletic programs throughout the area, including high school football and high school basketball. To learn more about us, please visit us at our website, www.nearstar.com. Nearstar Tennessee Zinc Mines.
Looking to buy or sell a home? Call Underwood Hometown Realty today. Our experienced team of professionals is here to guide you every step of the way. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking to sell, we make the process smooth and stress-free. With deep roots in the community, we know the local market inside and out. Let us help you find your dream home or get the best value for your current one. Call Underwood Hometown Realty now at 615-683-3300, where hometown service meets real estate expertise.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
We'll be joined by a joyous first-year head coach, Andrew Bartsch. And Coach, last Friday night, pretty special for your team to come back in the end, in the last few seconds, and win a football game. I know that had to feel good.
It felt great. You know, I didn't know what to do with myself when the clock ticked down. It was really surreal. You know, we talked to the kids after the Monterey game about the importance of, you know, finishing strong, and you know, the kids were kind of disappointed at Monterey, but we tried to lift their spirits by telling them, hey, we won the second half against Monterey. We'd rather be a second half team than just a first half team. You know, and the only thing we asked them to do was start building forward from the second half towards, you know, the opening kickoff, and let's start being a complete team.
Coach, one of the things that impressed me about the win last week was the fact that you're using a lot of young kids. For example, the young man who caught the winning touchdown pass out of the backfield is only a freshman, and that was very promising for the future of Cannon County football.
It is. We you know, really we have a lot of kids, especially at that running back spot. We've got 3 kids who can rotate in there and get time at that position. Kale just happened to have a skill set for that particular play that we thought fit really well. And, you know, we've got a freshman playing defensive line for us, and Landry Mason. And then, of course, Miles Alexander is playing a lot on the defensive side in the secondary.
Coach, when you look at your team, I know that you being a first-year head coach, it sometimes takes a while for that chemistry between coaching staff and players. How do you feel like your team has gelled thus far? Definitely made an improvement from week 1 to week 2.
Well, I think you're right there. There's a learning curve, to be sure. I think, on the defensive side of the ball, we've got 2 coaches that have been retained, and we've got 2 new ones on that side. And they do a really good job just listening to them on the headsets, make adjustments, and deal with the kids. They look like they've really gelled nicely. And offensively, everybody on the offensive side of the ball, for the most part, and I don't want to miss anybody, but we're all brand new. And not only are we new, we've never coached together. So it's been a little bit of a learning curve there. Of course, I've known Tommy, the offensive coordinator, for a few years, never worked together. But you're right, there's a learning curve there, and I think we're starting to figure out kind of how we all work together in the heat of the moment.
Coach, this is your second stint at Cannon County. If we go back, 15, 16 years, you were the head coach there for 1 year. What are the major differences, I guess, in the team then? Not only the team, maybe, but the community too, and their love of high school football.
Well, I don't think, the community, we've always had really good support here, and that's what I've told everybody in the 16 years I've been away is we've never lacked for support. I think maybe now with, I've changed a little bit. Every time I've asked for something from parents or from the community, hey, we need some crackers, we need some waters. Friday before the game, our trainer, his tent blew away and it got destroyed. And boy, I put it out there and I've had people stand up. I have to tell people, hey, we've got it taken care of. I appreciate the help. So on the community side, in that respect, that part hasn't changed. And that's the good part about it. Now the kids, the numbers are down. But enrollment's down, and so enrollment in the building is about 200 less than it was last time I was here, and I really can't figure out why. But we're hoping with some of the changes we've made in the program and some of the things that we're doing, we can, and obviously some wins, we can attract some more kids into the program.
Coach, I see John Robinson. Is he on your staff?
Yes, sir.
And he a former lineman for y'all? And do I remember that right or no?
Yes.
So Coach John played at Lebanon.
Okay. I knew the name sounded familiar. I just couldn't put a face and a place together. But I know when you're trying to build a staff coach, it's hard to sometimes, especially a first-year head coach. Are you at the coaching numbers that you want to be at, or would you like to see that increase?
Well, I would like to see it increase. We had 2 who were on-campus coaches who didn't make it back for one reason or another, and we haven't replaced them. So that part's the challenge. You can have we're a smaller program, but no matter how big or small your program, there are certain things that need to be done. No matter, if you're 6A in Rutherford County or if you're 2A out here, in terms of paint and practice cards and taking care of the field house, and there's just only so many hands. So on the one hand, you'd like to have, more hands taking care of those kind of non-football things. But on the other hand, there is a such thing as having too many coaches. And I've been in situations where, we brought guys on just to have numbers. And a lot of times the head coach ended up having to babysit those guys. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. And there really is no absolute answer.
Coach, Terry mentioned that Coach Robinson played at Lebanon. He also played at Vanderbilt and was an all-SEC performer, if I'm not mistaken, along the defensive front. And I go to church with John, and just FYI, after that win over Virginia Tech this past weekend, Coach Robinson's face was, I've never seen such a smile on his face. So, but he brings a whole lot to that program, I think, just because of his love of the kids. And every kid at Cannon County High School, as far as I know, loves Coach Robinson because of his personality and his love of the kids.
And he really does connect with the kids, and it's unique given his age that he is able to make those connections with the kids, and that's important because you've got to have guys of different type personalities on staff because kids will approach guys differently. So some kids might approach Coach John with some questions or concerns that they may not approach me with, or even some of the younger coaches. But you're right, he really does. He means a lot to these kids, and he means a lot to this program.
Coach, when you look at your quarterback, Eli Garrett, I think he's a first-year starter. When you look at the quarterback position, I think regardless if you're at junior pro, junior high, high school, college, or pro level, they have to be a leader, and they have to be somebody that the other kids are willing to follow. Do you feel like Eli is doing that for you?
I think his ability to start out with to perform on the field is going to attract a lot of those guys. A lot of what you said, they're going to rally behind him because he can help make them better just with his physical attributes. He can get them the ball. He can just make our offense move faster. He's still really young in the position. And so we've been mindful to make sure to understand that, that was only his third start in his career. And a lot of times I'm getting quarterbacks they've been playing quarterback since middle school, and they've been brought up in the system. So that's something we're mindful, and we're Coach Hinch is doing a good job of tailoring things to make sure that A, he can handle it mentally, but two, if he can handle it mentally, then he is going to be able to vocalize his leadership and lead more directly as opposed to just leading by example, if that makes sense.
Coach, you are the TV game for DTC this week. How do you think that affects the kids and maybe even some of the members of your coaching staff? Do you have to do things different, knowing full well that those cameras are up there in thousands of households?
Well, one of the things I've been fortunate enough to have played TV games in the past, and so I'm pretty familiar with how it changes the game. I know the kids will be excited if they're recording it to get home and watch it. And we'll have a little bit more time, I think, TV timeouts and that to help make adjustments. So I think for us, it might actually slow the game down a little bit more than what the kids would like. Because we're playing, I noticed that this last game that we played, we had about 177 clips downloaded of the game. Well, some of our opponents, they're only playing, 120 clips. So what I'm saying is we're able to offensively, we play so fast that we're playing almost 50 more plays a game than other teams. And when you can compact that in a given amount of time, that really puts a lot of pressure on the other guys, less so than us, because we're used to practicing and playing in that way.
Coach, you've got a chance to go above 500 this week. You've got Cheatham County, and I know they're 0-2 so far. I know for you to build this program where you want it to build, you've got to see Friday night as an opportunity to take that next step.
So I felt like the kids have really been locked in, even going back to Friday. We didn't have school that day, but they all showed up on time, and they handled themselves on really what could have been a goofy day, given that they might have slept in and played video games all night. And even earlier this week, we brought the kids in, and sometimes there's moments at practice where you just things have to be quiet and you have to teach. And the kids, man, I got to give it to them. There was not any goofing around. Everybody was locked in and listening to what Coach Hinch and Coach Hill had to say. So that's been a real positive for us this week. And I think that's going to help lead us to at least starting to do the things that we need to do to be winners. Now, Cheatham County, they're going to play bully ball a little bit like Monterey. They're going to be, they're going to want to play the game in a phone booth, and they're going to want to punch you in the mouth, and they're really going to want to slow things down. So we're fortunate that we had that experience with Monterey. Of course, on the other side of that, we're gonna match that by playing fast and trying to get as many plays in as we can.
Well, Coach, best of luck to you and the Lions.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
We'll take a look at the Cheatham County and Cannon County game, which is our game of the week on DTC Sports. When we return, we'll also look at Murphy's Picks as we remind you, watching the Box Score presented by Carthage Safeway.
What is your emergency?
I think I'm being robbed.
Sir?
These big home security guys want way too much money from me.
Let's connect you to a local company right away.
It's a crime what big national companies charge for home security.
For just $49.99, get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation.
Help is on the way, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Switch now and save. Call or visit DTC Security online today.
If you're a commercial driver looking for a company to call home, Huff and Puff Trucking is the company for you. Our employees are professional and dedicated individuals that take pride in what they do. We offer an outstanding pay package with a dispatch structure that maximizes your home time. To learn more about a company that knows you by name and treats you like family, call us at 1-800-965-5033 or visit our website at huffpufftrucking.com.
Got a special outdoor project that you need to tackle? BDGR Excavating is the one to call. Custom land clearing, mulching, excavation, and more. They can help get the job done, even when others have failed. Call the problem solvers at BDGR at 615-489-1329 and let them help you get that project out of the way so you can really start enjoying your property. BDGR Excavating.
Looking to buy or sell a home? Call Underwood Hometown Realty today. Our experienced team of professionals is here to guide you every step of the way. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking to sell, we make the process smooth and stress-free. With deep roots in the community, we know the local market inside and out. Let us help you find your dream home or get the best value for your current one. Call Underwood Hometown Realty now at 615-683-3300, where hometown service meets real estate expertise.
And welcome into the Box Score, sponsored by Carthage Safeway. We want to thank all our fine sponsors, which is Carthage Safeway, Huff and Puff Trucking, Star, Sonica Carthage, Underwood Home Realty, and BDGR Excavating. It's them that allows us to do this, Murph.
That's right. We do thank them a lot. I know a lot of people like watching this show just to find out not only how their favorite team does, but the other 4 teams that we carry here in the area.
Murph, when you look, you got Cheatham County at Cannon County coming up on Friday night at Woodbury under first-year head coach that we interviewed a little bit earlier. I know he's excited about his team being on DTC 3 and an opportunity to go to 2-1.
This could be one of those games, Terry. It's not a regional game because Cheatham County is 3A, but this game could really help the Cannon County program a lot. Just giving the kids the confidence they need to win a couple more games that they're not expected to win. And I kind of think this is one of those, and I really think Cannon County's got a great shot to win this game.
When you look at Cheatham County, they're a very physical football team. Kind of get in there toe-to-toe and come right at you, much as Monterey did in beating Cannon County in that week 1.
These two teams are so much alike. Football has not been a very strong sport in Ashland City either, but it hasn't been in all the schools that are in Cheatham County for that matter. And I think Cannon County, Coach Bartsch and his staff have brought an awful lot to Cannon County as far as the success of the football program, and I really expect the Lions to get a win this week.
Let's look at East Tennessee picks. Murph, take it away.
Okay, we'll start with Bradley Central traveling to Maryville. Bradley Central was a preseason favorite for a lot of different things. Maryville had 5 losses last year, one being 21-13 to Bradley Central, and I never could find out the last time Maryville lost 5 games in a season, but I don't think that's going to happen to them this year, and I'm looking for the Rebels to get a big win this week against Bradley Central. Marion County at Chattanooga Central. Marion County has scored, I think, 90 some odd points in their first 2 games. They're just putting a lot of stuff on the scoreboard, and I think they are indeed a force to be dealt with this year. I like Marion County to win that one as well.
Oak Ridge at Powell.
Oak Ridge was off last week. Didn't have a chance to beat up on somebody after that early win over Anderson County. But I think over Powell they've got a really good chance. Powell had a lot of seniors on their football team last year, and consequently I think Oak Ridge comes away with a nice win.
Let's look at the Middle Tennessee picks, starting with Friendship Christian at Columbia Academy.
Well, these are 2 teams that in Division II I think are going to play deep into November. Both teams have a loss. Friendship Christian to DCA, Columbia Academy to Webb at Bell Buckle. This one could go either way. I'll take a chance and pick Columbia Academy to win that one.
Gallatin at Mount Juliet.
Boy, those two teams. I can remember going to a Gallatin-Mount Juliet game decades ago, and the football was brought in via helicopter on the 50-yard line. Those two, that rivalry goes back so far. But I think Mount Juliet's off to a really good start this year with a couple of big wins, and I think the Golden Bears come away with a win there.
What could be for a region championship, Murphy, Macon County at Upper?
Yeah, and in the third week of the season, that's kind of crazy because usually you wait until week 10 or 11 for something like that. I would really like to go see that ball game. Macon County's just 2 losses last year, and one of those was 14-7 to Upperman. I don't see that happening, even though it's going to be on Upperman's turf. I think Macon County has a chance, but I see where I've picked Upperman to win that one. I've changed my mind 5 or 6 times and can't remember who I picked until I look at my cheat sheet. Sorry about that.
West Tennessee.
Houston at Germantown. Both of those have a Germantown zip code, but Houston, the defending 6A state champion, pretty good football team. Germantown beat South Panola, Mississippi at South Panola last week, but I think maybe they'll be celebrating that game a little bit too long, and I think Houston probably comes away with a win.
NBA traveling all the way to Memphis.
This one's a tough one to call. Non-regional game. You'd think they would be, but they're not. I think Marty Uverard is the big difference in that one. He's been at NBA for several years now, and MUS has got a new head football coach, but it's a guy who's been with the program for a long time. I think Marty's seniority, if you will, allows the Big Red to come away with a win.
Dyersburg at Covington.
That'll be another really good game to go see. Covington has big wins against 5A, Munford, and Brighton. Covington is just, I think they may make it all the way to the Blue Cross Bowl. I really do. It's hard to tell. That's a tough one to call too, but I'm going to have to go with Covington, the home team, on that one.
All right, Murph, go over these local picks as we wrap it up.
Well, Cannon County, I think they've got a shot. I really like the way they came from behind twice last week, so I've got to go with Cannon County on that one. And we all saw what DeKalb County is capable of in their win over Smith County last week, so I think they can probably pull one off, a regional win at Livingston Academy. Trousdale County still struggling. They've got they've got more freshmen and sophomores on this football team does Trousdale County than juniors and seniors, and because of the maturity of Gordonsville kids back from last year, I think Gordonsville wins that one. Smith County at Liberty. Liberty Creek's got a couple of wins, I think, already this year, and Smith County desperately needing one, but I think Liberty Creek, the home team, gets the win there. And then finally, Sequatchie County at Watertown. Got to go with Sequatchie on that one. They're a pretty good football team and a great program up there as well.
We want to thank all our fine sponsors, and for Justin Malden and Murphy Ferry, I'm Terry Collins. Good night from the box score.